excited. June 4th. Lots of awesome, busy activities over the next few weeks. So, no Salt Lake team meeting next week. We're doing the Agent Insider event on Wednesday in Pleasant Grove in lieu of team meeting. It's already been updated on your calendar. You're welcome to come here on Tuesday. We'll be here. You can hang out, but we won't be having a team meeting. We also have Zillow visiting on what day? May 27th. So the following Tuesday after Memorial Day, we will have Zillow in town. They're going to have a presentation for you guys, some awesome updates. So make sure you're at team meeting that day. That's all I have. Over to you, Jack. Woo, woo, woo.
Hello, everyone. So our t-shirts came in. They are on the ping pong table right over there. If you reserved one, there's a sheet. Your name will be on it. Just scratch it off and you're good to go. If you didn't get a t-shirt, come talk to me. Don't just take one. As everyone can see, we have stanchions now with other Jack's brilliant idea. And so those are available to rent out. Just come talk to me and we'll rent them out for you. You will have to set them up yourself, but we have 4 of them, plus a gold carpet. And that's all I got for you. Thanks.
A gold carpet. Let's go. Yeah. Hey guys, happy Tuesday. So I wanted to give you a quick market update. It's been not a lot of news this week. So inflation report came out, it was pretty flat for the month of April. Not very exciting, so just kind of is what it is right now. But I would say you're probably high 6s. There's lots of strategic ways to get that a little bit lower if we need to. We can always kind of talk that. But what I'm gonna touch base on tomorrow is I'm gonna deep dive into the equity report. So I wanna talk about the benefits of, it's always, we can tell everyone it's a good time to buy, but we wanna be able to show them, and what does that mean for your third house into retirement? What does that mean for a reverse mortgage and things like that? So we're just gonna dive into the equity report and why it's so important to buy a house and get some equity. Tomorrow, yes. What time? 11. I was like, you tell me.
Yep.
Okay, thanks. It's 11 tomorrow.
Thanks, Shay.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us. We're really excited. We've got a new incentive, one that we want to use with Intercap. It's 6% total concessions on homes that are finishing by the end of the month and closing within about 45 days of contract. In order to use Intercap, it will be increased earnest money, so $10,000 on condos, $15,000 for townhomes, and then $20,000 for single family. Buyers can use that 6% however they want, so purchase price reduction, rate buy down, closing costs, whatever works best for them and their situation. Go ahead, Matt. We have fought almost physically over that, and correct.
Yeah.
So that's worst case scenario. We've tried hey, if we're closing in the next 45 days, let's give them some leniency or something. But Edge is held strong. So thanks, guys.
Another thing we wanted to talk about is with buyers right now, everybody wants equity. Everybody wants to get something that is a good play. We're releasing a new neighborhood this week on Wednesday in Eagle Mountain. The reason I bring it up as far as equity is when you have buyers that are looking for something like that, new construction and specifically brand new neighborhoods are a really great option to look at because, for example, our neighborhood, we are going to have prices artificially low because if you go out there right now, it's a big empty field. There's nothing. And so in order to incentivize the first 5 to 10 people to go under contract, your pricing will be artificially low. So if somebody were to go under contract tomorrow, theoretically within the next week or so, we'll have pricing go up as much as 10 grand, I would guess.
Appraisals are up then.
Say that one more time.
Appraisals are up.
Appraisals are up, but the thing is these are built. So these are 8 months out. And so you have time for the appraisals to come in and everything else like that. Cool. So it's a really good way for somebody to get in and get a little bit of equity before they're even closing on it. So if you want any info on that, those homes are starting at $499,000, $900, and going up from there. We can do ADUs. These are big lots too, so they've got room for all of that. If you have any questions, let us know. We'd love to help. Thanks, guys. Starting at 0.2 of an acre. Yep, so good size. They're flat too. So if you have anyone not, oh, and no HOA. I forgot to mention that, no HOA. So if you have anyone not wanting an HOA, that's a good place to be. So thanks, everybody.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Tristan.
Hi, I'm Carla.
And I'm Tiff. Hi.
Okay, so real quick, who has already used Earnest? Ooh, okay. Yeah, was it? Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I was looking this way, so I'll just go ahead and give it to Sarah.
Okay, amazing. So we're going to talk about Earnest again today. I know we sound like a broken record, but we have new faces in here, and we just need refreshers because maybe it didn't apply to you when we first talked about it, but now it does. So Earnest is a way to send novation title, for your clients to send novation title, their earnest money. That's exactly what it is for, earnest money only. And Tiff's going to talk about why I am reiterating that.
Yeah, so we've had a couple of cases where buyers are sending us their down payment via earnest money, and that we cannot accept cash to close outside of earnest money through the earnest money app. The funds have to be certified good funds, and with Earnest, they can still recall that. So if you're trying to like fund same day and they sent us their down payment through the Earnest app, we have to reject it. They have to receive it back and then reinitiate it through a standard wire. So just make sure that you're really reiterating that to your clients, that earnest money is a really good option to send your earnest money, but if it's your cash to close, it does have to be a wire if it's over $10,000 or a cashier's check if it's below.
And I do want to say that our team has gone over the wiring instructions with the buyer, and they still sent the funds through Earnest. And I get it, it can be confusing. I already sent the title company money this way, it was super easy. But we do go over it with them, and somehow they're still sending it. Oh, Tiff, talk about the Bank of America, the ACH.
Oh yeah, so a big example of this is through Bank of America. Both cases where the client banked with Bank of America, and Bank of America sent it. It wasn't through Earnest, but they sent it as an ACH transfer instead of a wire transfer. And there is a difference with that. Some cases like Zelle or Venmo, if they bank with Venmo, those all send as ACH, not as wires. So just like a couple of things to help prep your clients on that those aren't certified funds. Those can be recalled or stopped. So we have to have like no takebacks as a wire. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
So actually, what questions do we have on this? Or who has a question? That's the better one. Nobody. Oh, wait. Okay, yes. Go ahead. No.
So if you have the app, it's great because you can request the fund. If you have the app, it's great because you can actually request the funds from these buyers, your next buyers. You can track the funds and see where they're going if you have the app. The link that we have through our email, it's just a very simple way. It automatically goes to Novation Title. They just might have to put in a little bit more information, like the property address and those things, whereas if you have the app, you're doing that and requesting the funds. So either way is great. It really depends how you want to send it.
Yep.
All right. Not if they're doing just the payment link. Yep.
Anything else?
Great
And then
questions.
please ask us too, like us, if it gets confusing for your clients, just reach out to one of us. But yeah, no other questions?
All right.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
to stall. I've been waiting for this moment. There we go. That's me and Michael, by the way. I love AI. I meant to put that up last week, and I didn't have an opportunity, so this is my opportunity. Isn't it funny that AI just like knows I'm bigger than Michael? I thought that was interesting. All right, so here's 4 creative ideas to get more business. So I'm not a creative person. A lot of this I've kind of learned from like the Tom Ferry coaching and so forth. So here's a couple of creative ideas of getting more business, because we all know making cold calls, sending emails can get kind of boring. So here's a couple ideas for you. You got to keep me on time so I don't go over. Okay. Does anyone do like circle prospecting to some degree? Let's make this a little interactive. Feel free to shout out some answers. Circle prospecting, meaning like you're prospecting around a particular listing, whether it's yours, someone else's. Anybody do any of that by raise of hands, like circle prospecting? Has anyone done letters around the neighborhood before? So this is something that I've attempted at my most recent listing, so I don't have the results for you just yet. I'll let you know how it goes. Relatively inexpensive. So you can use, do we still have Redx? I should probably ask before I advertise that. Okay, so you can pull a list of all the addresses around a particular listing. So I did this in my Sandy listing. I just pulled the closest 100 addresses, and it's relatively inexpensive. You just need to buy envelopes from Target is the cheapest because they have the peel and stick. That way you don't have to like lick 100 envelopes. There's that Seinfeld episode where George's wife dies because she the poison envelopes. So don't do that. Stamps are expensive. Only like old people know this, but let me just tell you, stamps are like 75 cents a stamp. So all in all, it's about $80 per round of 100 envelopes. And here's just some ideas for circle prospecting. So I did 3 rounds of letters to the closest 100 neighbors at my Sandy listing. And here's kind of some scripts and things that you can use. And then if you add like door knocking, inviting the neighbors to the open house, you're essentially hitting the neighbors 4 times. Like that's not bad. So here's the first one. It's basically just you're sending a letter to all the neighbors saying, hey, we hosted the open house. Here's how many people showed up. You know, maybe you want to throw in there if you've gotten offers already. Don't worry, you don't need to take a photo of this. I'm going to send it to everyone because I know it's kind of hard to read. And then there's a QR code at the bottom, a call to action. Hey, if you want to know what your house is worth, happy to give you a free home evaluation, but just kind of a more specific way of inviting them in. Once it goes under contract or, once it closes, especially if it's a really successful sale, like, hey, we sold X amount over list price, or we got our sellers multiple offers, some kind of success story, you want to explain that and maybe give the stats. Like, hey, we sold, in this case, the home ended up selling almost $50,000 over the Zestimate. That's pretty cool. So anytime you can share a success story of, hey, there's people wanting to move into your neighborhood, we still have active buyers that missed out on this house. If you or if you know a neighbor who's thought about selling the house, we have buyers actively ready for you. It's kind of Sharon's concept of like proof and not a promise. Like, we know Kidding had buyers. Here's how many showed up to the open house. Here's how many offers we got. And then the third round, that I won't take credit for this. I got this idea from Hannah. Congrats to her. She just got married this weekend. This is like, obviously you need to get permission from your sellers to do this, but you're essentially sending out a letter pretending, you're the sellers with their permission that essentially just says like, hey, in this case, it was my sellers, Cameron and Carrie. Scott did a phenomenal job for us. We really enjoyed the experience. So you're kind of just hitting this at a slightly different angle. It's kind of coming from them, even though I'm the one who's like preparing the letters and sending them out in the mail. Does that make sense? So there's kind of a quick idea. And if you want, what's up? Did your clients actually write the letter? I wrote it and then I sent it to them and said, hey, is it okay if I do this? Here's what I'm going to do. Here's why X, Y, and Z. They're relocating back east, so I don't think they cared. But obviously, yeah, I'm writing it for them. I'm doing all the work up front. I'm just saying, hey, is it okay if I mail this out to your neighborhood? Good question. If you want the scripts for all these things, just say something nice about me on Instagram, and then I'll send you this slide deck. Yeah, how's that? Okay, here's idea number 2. Has anyone done like a neighborhood event or something like out about in the community, whether it was like a volunteer thing or a coat drive, or I'm looking at you, Stansbury, Greg. Did you? So you did the Easter egg hunt? Cool. You probably stole that idea from me. That's all right. So holidays, summer events, like summer is a great time, especially if you live in kind of, Daybreak's a great example, very collaborative type community where you can host events when the summer's nice. So here's a couple ideas that I've done. By the way, I have gotten leads and gotten business from all these ideas, so I'm not making this up. Easter egg event. Did you have a lot of people sign up when you did it this year? Yeah, cool. I had 50, so no big deal. I'm just kidding, Greg. So you could go cheap and just print these off and like hand them out, door to door. The first year I did this, I spent a little bit more money and I ordered actual door hangers, hired some high schoolers to hand out like 1,000 of these door hangers. You can go cheap or you can go more time efficient and more expensive. But just some ideas of like, hey, if you want to get free Easter eggs, you just sign up. You have the little QR code on there that just has like their contact info if they want to sign up for free eggs. And then the night before Easter, Aries, my assistant, can attest to this. We drove around to these different homes. We had the little, address mapped out. I had all the pre-filled Easter eggs. They're relatively inexpensive. And again, if you want to know where to order these, just reach out to me. And then you basically go and you scatter eggs in people's front yards, and their kids can get free Easter eggs the morning of Easter. It's pretty cool. And it kind of helps get your name out there, get your face recognized, that you're kind of this like collaborative, community-oriented person. Here's another idea. You can do it, same concept, but just around the holidays. So you can go to Costco, order a bunch of really inexpensive pies. What I like about this idea, this sort of pass the pie, is rather than you signing up to get a pie for yourself, you actually nominate a neighbor. So guess what? Not only do they have to fill in their contact info on that sign-up sheet, they also have to give the neighbor's contact info. So I was able to capture twice as many leads and contact info because you have to nominate a neighbor. So it's kind of almost like a neighbor gets to hook up another neighbor, everyone wins. They get a free pie, hand delivered to their house. I even printed off a little letter that had as part of the survey, you have to fill out, hey, why does this neighbor deserve a free pie? And so they kind of get a nice little greeting with that I print out and deliver with the pie to the neighbors. So just a couple of ideas of how you can be well known in your community and maybe find ways to get in front of the neighbors that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise. Any questions about Emily? You got tons of questions. What's up?
How long does it take you to create Google Forms or surveys?
Not much time at all. I mean, everyone has a Google account. You just go to the survey, you can hand make the form, and then it's either just sending out the link or a QR code to it, but it's really, really easy to just come up with a couple questions on a survey. Is that what you wanted me to say? It sounds like you wanted
Yeah.
me.
How many people here have used their Google account through the team to set up some kind of form or registration for their clients? Handful of people. Super, super, super easy. I mean, you can chat GPT it, you can Google it, but you can create a form in literally 30 seconds that anyone can
Yep.
fill out.
Yeah, I use a Google survey for every closing where I just ask them like, what's your favorite restaurant? When are your kids' birthdays? And then that way I know when to follow up with my past clients every year, like, hey, happy anniversary, right? And then I just set a reminder for myself. So another great way to use a survey. Idea number 3, how am I doing on time? Seminars or workshops. Here's just a couple of ideas. Maybe you specialize in working with first-time home buyers, or maybe you work with investors, or a specific niche, or a seller seminar. Here's another idea. Is Matt Barrett in the house today? There he is. So Matt and I are going to do a military benefits seminar. We did this my very first year in real estate. I think we had 55 people show up, ended up getting a closing out of it. So I'm a veteran, so I'm fairly knowledgeable about military benefits, and I know how bad the government is at actually educating veterans about some of these benefits, right? Not just the VA loan, but I bring in my buddy who talks about how to apply for VA disability. I bring in a representative from the Utah Department of Veteran military and veteran affairs to talk about, different benefits that they offer through the state. And then anytime you get free food, people are going to show up, right? So here's just kind of a quick breakdown. Not very expensive. The marketing is probably the most expensive. Just a few ideas. You can do postcards. That's probably the most expensive. You can expect roughly like a 3 to 5% RSVP rate from postcards. I made a reel. I boosted that on Instagram. And then really just calling around to the different bases or different military organizations to try to spread the word. Costco, you can buy some pretty inexpensive food for people. And then I like to raffle off some prizes. You can also partner with people. So like Matt and I are partnering on this together. He's going to talk about the VA loan, and hopefully I can help get one of our preferred vendors some business as well. So don't forget, you have partners within the Perry Group who might want to partner with you on something like this to maybe help share the cost, because there's an incentive in it for them as well. And then idea number 4, simply because Jack made me talk about this, is social media, which I won't go into too much because you guys get it. Instagram, YouTube, right? All these different ways to get in front of people. I think the concept here is like, find what's unique about you. What are you knowledgeable about? What is your background in? And then find the demographic who's going to be attracted to that. And then do the neighborhood event or do the seminar or do something that speaks to that audience. Fair? Any questions about any of those ideas? Again, if you want me to send you the slide deck that has all the templates in it, just tag me and say something nice about me on Instagram, and I'll send you the slides. Any questions? I'm doing it here. Yeah, so the office you can rent for free. You just reach out to Emily.
Oh, that's lit.
That is lit.
This whole office?
Yes. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, so, and the other thing I like to do is, for this specific event, I'll reach out to veteran-owned businesses, and I'll ask them for donations. So I've raffled off prizes from Alpha Coffee, from, I'm going way stereotypical here, but like there's like gun ranges and things where I can get gift cards, I get donations from different people. That way I'm not spending money on these raffle prizes. Incentivizes people to show up if they get like a potential to win a cool raffle prize. There's free food involved. I try to keep it no more than like an hour worth of like sitting down talking, and then it's really just networking. Yeah, I like free. So maybe think about what the Perry Group has access to. Maybe talk to Intercap and see if you can host like a private event in one of their conference rooms, which can fit a lot of people, or maybe the Utah County office, or there's no right or wrong answer of where you can host these things. It's relatively hard, just for this specific example, you kind of bring up a good point. It's hard to host things on a base if you're a real estate agent. They make that kind of difficult. So I do it out in town. Yeah. Anything else?
What do you mean by that?
It's hard to get approved to host an event on a military installation.
Oh, yeah. Understood.
Yep. Anything else? Sweet. Just want to make sure you guys see this, and then we're good to go.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah, give him a hand.
All right. I feel like everybody's really quiet today. So I'm doing this on the fly. We used to do this thing called rock stars, where you would like recognize somebody else on the team that helped you out or took a showing or helped you through a deal. I'm doing this on the fly. I don't have rock stars. I have coffee mates. So if you would like to recognize a mate on the team, doesn't have to be a romantic mate, just a friend, like an Australian type of mate. Maggie's ready to go. If you would like to, come up and get a coffee mate to give them. I'm sure they'll put it on their desk forever. So, Maggie, go.
Okay, my coffee mate of the day is Jaden. She will have 6 closings this month, and she will make more. Can I say this part? Can I say that part? She is slated to make more money this month than she has in any single year previously, which is so cool. So huge round of applause for her.
Who's got one? Who's got a mate? Something you want to celebrate? Someone that helped you? Huh? Tay.
She helped me with showing where you see now.
Was that a stretch? Yes. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. I want to shout out Kelly and Greg. They have kind of headed up the TPG Tooele stuff, and they work really awesome with me and the other agents out there and just holding us accountable. So I just appreciate you guys.
Hazelnut's the best. All right, I got two more. Al.
Kristen and I have been talking about a buyer working with one of our incentives, and I got a notification. I think she's over there. But I got
I'll deliver.
that the incentive was ending, so I texted her that night. I think it was like 9:30. And I said, "Hey, I'm sorry, if there's any chance that you can keep tonight, I'll meet you." I didn't think it was gonna happen. I did up for you at 10. This contract got signed at like 11:30 p.m. We got it in on time.
She didn't even realize you were talking about her until I gave her the coffee mate. Will you say it again? All right, one more.
All right, I got one. So Mariah Green, she's like one of the teams that really just pumps me up when she shows up. She's always full of energy, and she got me like 1,000 views on this video that I did. So I appreciate it.
All right. I got a few things, and then we're going to go through April sales. We had a record month, and it took forever for us to figure out how many we actually closed. And I finally told Johnny, I was like, I can't recap April sales in June, so can you just give me a number so it's like May 13th? So we got it done. Couple quick things. Bees Night, Emily touched on this. Huge congratulations. We doubled our number of tickets from last year, and we sold them out. We had people signing up. Like, we still had tickets the week of last year. Thank you guys for like pausing your life and your business for a minute to send out those invites. It's super, super important. We love doing that, but huge congratulations to you guys and huge thank you. It's a lot easier when we have all our RSVPs done well in advance. So thank you and congratulations on that. Quick update on the Farmington office. It is not moving as fast as we want. We have a lease. You can go sit in there. We own it. There is, bring your hotspot on your phone. Sit at a desk. We're working on internet and furniture. We have some construction we're trying to do. It's taken longer than we hoped. So as soon as we have internet and furniture, we kind of have furniture, but Randy's volunteered. I think you said like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You'll just have your hotspot running up there. Yeah, so Randy will be there if you guys want to just jump in with Randy. He has committed to that. Okay, I'm not going to talk about this because it's on here, but on the bottom of your handout, there is a little recap of the broker meeting. We have a new state broker, Don Stevens. I am not going to talk ill of any previous broker that we may have had in this state, but Don has realized that there were a lot of things going on that made some of our stuff not compliant. And that's not just this team, this is the state. So read this. This will keep you out of trouble. If you have questions on it, reach out to me. Really, like, it's not crazy stuff. It's just like, make sure your paperwork's signed when it's supposed to be signed, or you're not going to get paid, or you're exposing yourself to potential risk. So read through that, pay attention to it. Kim sent out a little summary as well. If you have questions on any of it, let me know, let Kim know. I would say Dawn is a rock star, but she is by the book. So if you want to get paid, pay attention to this. All right, let's talk about April. So contracts in April. Our goal for contracts was our biggest contract goal ever. We were trying to do 190 contracts in 30 days. That was ambitious. So here are our actuals. I did this in Utah County. I hate putting this stuff in red because doing 94 contracts in a month is not a red number, but that's just the number. Utah County did 50, Daybreak did 27, and then Chris left town because he was so excited. And St. George did 9, so our total was 180. So we did 6 contracts a day in April. Again, that's not a red number. 6 contracts a day, no one does that. All right, here are our top contracts for individuals. So there's a bunch at 4. Nate Stanley, Zeph did 4, Jesse Warner did 4, Summer did 4. She's here. Joe Toll did 4. Patrick and St. George did 4. It's not on my screen anymore. Gabby Schaefer did 4. Scott did 5 with all his sources of business, especially social media. Scott did 5 contracts in April. Steve in Utah County did 6. Chris Ford and Sydney Ford did 6. And Erica did 8 in Utah County. Okay, quick note on Erica. 45 days ago, Erica was super depressed. She was a new agent coach. She had been leading a bunch of trainings in Utah County, and that was going really well, but her business was dead. She was like 0 for 34 on Zillow. Snuck through the cracks there. We paused her. She was super depressed. 45 days later, she did 8 contracts. So that is as quick as it can turn. We talked a couple weeks ago about if you are struggling, if you're sad, if you're anxious, real estate sucks right now versus real estate's awesome right now. That's how quick it can turn. So focus on the activities. 45 days from I don't know what I'm doing in this business to writing 8 contracts is insane. So huge congrats to Erica. She's not here, but that is the message. Okay, closings. Here is our goals. 117 was our goal. Okay, Salt Lake did 75, so 4 over goal. Utah County did 34, 2 over goal. Daybreak sandbagged their goal. They did 20, 11 over goal. And St. George hit their goal. We did 134 closings in the month of April, 17 over goal. That is our biggest closing month as the Perry Group of all time. Congrats. All right, closing totals, we'll fly through these. But again, we did 68 SOI closings, 64 team closings. We closed $80.5 million in real estate in 30 days. Take a picture of that. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's almost $3 million a day. Everyone's taking their pictures. Everybody good? Everybody good? Sure. Yeah. Yeah. You got it. All right, here's our April top 10 by agent. Gabby Schaefer did 1.86 on 2 closings. Sergio in Utah County, 1.94 on 4 closings. Patrick in St. George, 2.05 on 2 closings. That's pretty solid. That's $1 million apiece. Not as solid as Taylor Young, who just closes $2 million per deal every time on 1 closing. Aaron is here, I know. New to the team. Number 6 in April, 2.17 on 4 closings. I don't know how this happened. Jack's done for the year. He has risen indeed. $2.25 million on 2 closings, and he moved to Hawaii immediately after he placed his order for open house signs with that full commission. Chris Ford, Sydney Ford, $2.64 million on 5 closings. Darren's here, $2.65 on 3 closings. Haley Green, we talked about her writing 7 contracts and having 7 closings. She closed them all. Again, $3.95 million on 7 closings in April. That's busy. And Michael Perry, $1 million apiece, 4.11 on 4 closings. That is your April top 10. Okay, real quick. If you aren't on this list or you didn't have a closing, there's we just did our coffee mates. Part of being on a team is you guys are helping each other through deals all the time. I see it on Slack. I see people pick up showings. I see people like, hey, yeah, I'll take a second look at a CMA for you. These are your numbers. Whether you had a contract, whether you had a closing, every person in the room should feel like they're a part of this, because I can't think of a single person in the room that hasn't showed up as part of the team to support each other. So celebrate yourselves, whether your name is in here or not this month, because it will be soon. Okay, year-to-date closings. Through April, we should be at 394 closings if we're going to hit 1,500. Salt Lake is at 256. They're 11 ahead. Utah County's at 120. They're 18 ahead. Daybreak's at 54. They're 23 ahead. Emily's typing furiously. This is going to be in the recap for sure. St. George is at 19. They are 3 ahead. So that puts us at 449 closings through 4 months. Not great at math, but that's like 112 a month. That is 55 closings ahead of where we need to be to hit 1,500. So huge, huge congrats again. All right, last thing. This is agents 16 through 20. So these are just on the outside of President's Club right now. We got Jake Litchfield in 20. We got Wade at 19. Becca Lima 18. Ashley Johnson at 17. She's back there writing an offer right now. Kenny Super at 16. You two are real close. Okay. This is your current President's Club. Viv in Daybreak is at 3.85 million. Taylor, again, that's 2 closings. That's not fair. Taylor in Daybreak is at 3.99 million. Mona is at 4.07. Scott, 4.10. Spenny Ford. Did you guys know Spencer grew an inch when he had his back surgery? He did. And if you hadn't noticed, shame on you. He is taller. Spencer's at 4.19. Brooke in St. George, the Zillow Queen down there, is at 4.28. Brian Garlick, the Zillow King of Utah County, is at 4.54. Tony Acosta in Utah County, 4.63. Trevor's here. He was here. Hi, Trevor. You're a hell of a skier. You're like doing front flips and stuff. It was impressive. Go like his post, share it. Everybody pull your phone out. Pull up Trevor's. No, just kidding. Okay. Gabby Schaefer is at 5.27 million. Hannah just got married. 6.77 million. Right now is the time to capitalize, guys. She is out of town. This is the time. Sergio, Utah County, 7.62 million. This guy, he was talking in team meeting. Hi, Johnny. This is a source of business that Scott didn't touch on. Sergio walks his dog and just meets people and sells them houses. And they were like, how do you do it? And he's like, well, I just walked my dog for like a month and like built rapport. And, I kept seeing him. I probably brought up that I was a real estate agent like around 6 weeks, maybe 7 weeks in. It's like a whole strategy. So if you have a dog and you want to get business, talk to Sergio. He's got the strategy. Haley Green, 10.51. Darren, 10.74. I do have to say on your sheet, you will notice Haley passed Darren in the last couple of weeks. I know. Take a picture of that, Darren. And Michael Perry, number 1, 12.5 million. So that is the recap of April. Record-setting month, the most closings we have ever had, second most contracts we have ever had. Huge congratulations to all you guys. I'm going to get out of here and let somebody else take over.
Hi, everybody. Drew was so mature and appropriate today. We didn't have a single naughty list remark. Okay, I was thinking about this when Drew said, 6 closings or 6 contracts a day? Does anyone remember that? Was it 6? That's a contract every hour and some change of a business day. So that's pretty crazy to think about it that way. Okay, I'm going to go really fast. I have a couple things, and then Maggie is right after me. I was at the Zillow Advisory Board thing last week, and they're rolling out some really cool programs. This is technically an NDA, but this is all good news in my opinion, so I'm going to talk about it. There's something called Zillow Pro, which is free and which is coming super quickly. And this is so cool. The reason I'm talking to you about it is to get prepared for it. So where does the consumer live? Online. When a consumer is buying a house, like, what do they use? Zillow. How many buyers in the country were connected with a Zillow Premier agent last year? It was 1 in 16 about 4 years ago. Guess what it is now? 1 in 3. 1 out of every 3 buyers. This is the alarming part. This is the cool part and alarming part. 1 in every 3 buyers did not close with a Zillow agent, but what did they do? They called a Zillow agent. They didn't call their real estate agent. This is why this is so cool. So Zillow Pro, the consumer is going to use their app, but they're going to be connected to real estate agents for life. What it looks like, it will show your profile picture. It will show your socials, your reviews. So basically, I'm going to use Spencer Ford as an example. It's going to show a super pretty picture of Spencer. It's going to be at the top right corner of the Zillow app. Every insight they have, every time they look at a house in Florida or Utah, Spencer Ford's going to be in the top right corner. Every time they reach out to buy a house or they say, I'm interested, it's going to alert Spencer Ford immediately. Their whole point of this, there's a catch to this that doesn't affect us, but they want every agent on the planet on Zillow. It's free for us, but it's not free for the agents who don't pay for Zillow Leads or Zillow Flex. But what I'm so excited about this is we lose, can anyone tell me what the stat is of when you close a house, you go back to your agent the second time? Is that it? Yeah, okay. It's 87% do not go back to their agent. This helps completely kill that. So this is not a 30-day connection. This isn't 60 days. This is a lifetime connection until the consumer says, I don't want to be connected with Spencer anymore. The interesting part is it's going to be very public how good of an agent you are. Your sales, it's going to say in the top right corner how many houses you've sold, how many reviews. But what I think is really interesting about this, and it's something I would really start working on, reviews, all that. Now I'm going to pick on Jeff Justice. Jeff Justice is going to love this. Jeff Justice is not on Zillow. He's a really good Sotheby's agent who does open houses and he's connected. Every time he meets a connection, and I wonder how many times people who use or don't use Jeff Justice because of us have called us. He's going to be at open houses. He's going to be at his neighborhood grocery store. Whatever he does, he's going to say, connect with me, connect with me, connect with me. And so I would get in the habit right now of connecting with your people via Zillow. You can do that My Agent Connection right now. But get in the habit of getting used to asking for their business. Okay, we don't have time for questions. That's just really cool. The action item I give you is get your Zillow reviews up ASAP. Okay, next thing. This has been really cool for me. I've never been busier, and that's not like an egotistical way, but I think some things have changed on how I put out content. And I think this is really important. So for Instagram, I'm very much myself. I'm relatively abrasive. You know me, you know my views, but don't really care. That's like where my friends are. What I've really started to transition to is on LinkedIn and Facebook, I've gone the super professional route. Like super professional. I don't really share a glance into my private life. And the amount of calls I'm getting from people who I went to school with, their parents. And I think that's a really cool part. It's like you're on Instagram, if you see me in a Cybertruck making fun of someone who flipped me off, that probably doesn't appeal to a certain side and a certain demographic, which that's fine. But I think when I cast the net of Facebook or LinkedIn that's like, hey, we're really good at what we do, we're starting to field those calls. So I would just think about it. Continue to be yourself on certain platforms, probably TikTok, Instagram, all that. And I wouldn't urge you with caution or advise you, but I would, on the more professional platforms, I would do everything you can to get that net out there. Okay, 2 minutes left, and then I'm out. These are questions for you that I want to learn from, and I think we can learn from each other about balance. The questions are, and I want feedback. Question 1, how early and late do you communicate with your clients? Emily.
So this isn't client related, but I consider you guys like clients, leads, people that I'm serving.
I'm a lead to you?
You fill out our form, you're lead. And for me, I was experiencing a lot of burnout at the end of last year, which is why I got a business phone. Because it literally was like, I'm kidding you not, I would get text messages at like 2:51 a.m. And for me, now it's like after 7:30, if somebody reaches out to me and I don't have like availability or capacity to respond, I respond the next morning. But sometimes I'm flexible too, where like if I'm okay checking my phone, then I will.
Great. What else? There's no wrong or right answers. Okay. You ever been burned out? Okay. Who else? Does it work? Okay, go a little deeper on that. Because I think that's the answer we eventually want. Like nobody wants to talk to a client at 11:30.
Yeah, so typically I rarely get clients reaching out past that. Mainly because I find that I don't respond. They stop. Like I had a few people that were 10, 11, midnight, and I just wouldn't respond until the morning. But for me, my kids go out the door at 8:20. They go to bed at 8:30. So if I cap at those times, like I'm not responding because I'm busy too. So if I'm trying to do both, it just turns into a mess.
Yeah, I think it's a good, if you're going to put a cap, just tell your clients, right? Like, hey, if you're going to work with me, just so you know, if you reach out to me after 8 p.m., it's usually because I'm putting my kids to bed, so I'll get back to you the next morning. If it's an emergency, then of course you can text me that. To me, an emergency is we're writing an offer. If we're not writing an offer, I'll get back to you the next morning.
Okay, I love that. I done this for a long time, 9 years. I am like sprinting into the busiest season of my life, personal, professional, and it's naive to think I won't burn out. So we will probably talk about this next week in depth, but I think the whole goal, especially when you're not super busy, is what Trevor and Scott said. It is not a super cool look or life, and it's a life I live 24/7 to be connecting with your clients. So I think if you can start now, start small, start with the boundaries. There's very few things in life, in the real estate world, where your client needs to get hold of you past, I agree with 8. So work on that now. And Maggie.
Okay, so speaking of, kind of burnout tools, like things that can help with that stuff, make sure you guys, I talked about this last week at team meeting, but truly make sure you guys attend pretty much, of course I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say all of them, but like attend the Thursday 11 a.m. trainings that we have going on again, Thursday, 11 a.m., agent elevation trainings. They are really, really incredibly tactical right now. I mean, a lot of it, we're in a core training block, right? So a lot of this is kind of like foundational elements. But one thing that we use, like I said last week, one thing that we learned from the test week stuff was that our CMA presentation, not just knowing the information, but delivering the information, needs to be tidied up, okay? Raise your hand if you feel like presenting a CMA is a little bit, yep. Like it's not an SOP. Does everybody know what an SOP is? A standard operating procedure, right? Raise your hand if you feel like you need an SOP for presenting your CMA. Literally everybody in the room should be raising their hand. Like imagine if you had somebody who was like, hey, come list my home, and it was an SOP, right, to how you put together your CMA. So that way presenting it was no stress, and how that might help address potential burnout, right? Or prevent potential burnout, right? When you create SOPs and these things are just kind of automatic, we can produce at a higher level. We can achieve at a higher level. We can achieve success at a higher level, at a higher rate, right? So we put together, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this is all my notes and like a thought process on a CMA and tabbing all of this out. Now, we're creating an SOP for you to model everything off of in your CMA presentation. I got this $7 binder thing on Amazon with sheet protectors, and I'm exploring what it looks like to actually take 5 minutes and slide in my pages of a CMA into a binder like this, so that way my presentation is standardized and it is so clear, right? So this is where we're headed with these trainings coming up, right? Thursday, okay, at 11 a.m. This last week, we had Julie come in and walk us through how to understand what a comp is. Thursday this week, we're doing a really, really fun kind of training session, competition session, where we're gonna throw an MLS number up on the board. You guys will have an hour to pull your comps from the MLS, right? And we're gonna be doing like a ton of prizes, prize money, if you get every single one of the comps in that hour. Cool? So come here to really flex those muscles, and then in subsequent weeks, we're gonna really start to hone in on how to create something like this together, okay? So Thursday, 11 a.m., we'll see you here. Have an excellent Tuesday. That is a wrap on team meeting.